Today is June 27th, 2019, and you're listening to the RU Unfunny Serious News Show. First off, I'd like to give a thanks to our sponsor, Norco Tobacco. Norco Tobacco is also hosting an event this Friday night from 4 to 10 p.m., June 28th. It is a night of Americana. Come celebrate, have some food and music, raffles, and the finest cigars in Horsetown, USA. Once again, that's Friday, June 28th, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. Norco Tobacco is located at 2500 Hamner Avenue in Norco, California. Now, this first story is probably the most unbelievable story I've seen in a while. Hunters in a remote area of Siberia discovered a dying man trapped in a bear's den. Reportedly, he had been there for a month. He was barely alive, suffering a broken back and rotting skin. The man, whose name is Alexander, remembers his name but not his age or when exactly he was first attacked by the bear. Alexander said, "The bear preserved me as food for later," according to the Siberian Times. Experts have no explanation for how he managed to survive, and if you've seen the pictures on the internet, I can tell you that his skin started rotting, and he seriously looked like a White Walker. Check out the pictures online. It is an amazing story of how this guy survived with a broken back in a bear's den. Nothing wrong with making a buck unless you're a Pulitzer Prize winning writer for the New York Times. The Daily Beast reports that one member of the New York Times reporting team that had won a Pulitzer Prize for investigating President Trump's taxes tried to turn the material into a book deal, which is a big no-no in journalism ethics. David Barstow has refused to return materials provided by sources even after lawyers have gotten involved. His plan was to ghostwrite the book on behalf of a principal source for the reporting. Since the deal fell through, Barstow says it's really not that big of a deal, but current and past leadership for the Times have all chimed in that it was a BS move on Barstow's part. Did a cigarette bring down the Norte Dame Cathedral? Well, prosecutors investigating the disastrous fire that damaged the Notre Dame Cathedral have not yet found evidence it was deliberately started. The New York Post reports 100 witnesses have been interviewed and investigators have reviewed 1,200 pieces of evidence. Two leading theories for the cause are a smoldering cigarette or an electrical malfunction. If you're shopping around for a career change, there's good news out there. The UN is reporting that the cocaine industry is booming. Using global data from 2017, the report indicates 35 million people are addicted to some sort of drug. In 2017, 1,976 tons of cocaine were produced. But cultivation of the opium poppy fell 17%. Dominican Republic's tourism board has its work cut out for them. Trips to the Dominican Republic are down 74.3% year over year for the months of July and August. But the cancellation rate increased over 50% during the first weeks of June as well. Meanwhile, Delta Airlines is giving waivers to passengers who canceled trips to Punta Cana, but do require them to rebook their flight or put it towards a flight somewhere else. Cities across Europe are enduring record high temperatures caused by a high-pressure system bringing in air from northern Africa. Germany has recorded its highest ever temperature for June at 102 degrees. Communications services executives make more money than you, on average. For CEOs of companies like Facebook, Walt Disney, and AT&T, median pay in 2018 was $22.6 million. That's $10 million more than the median pay of all CEOs on the S&P 500, according to the Wall Street Journal. Medina, Washington is running out of money despite being the home to both Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos. An annual property tax increase of more than 1% must be approved by the 3,000 residents of the city, which is the seventh richest zip code in the country based on property values and average household income. Public records indicate Gates pays over $1 million a year in property taxes, but only $84,000 of that goes to the local municipality. A vote is scheduled in November to change the limit in annual increases. Investigations into Boeing's 737 MAX Jet design has uncovered another serious flaw. Under certain circumstances, the computer system pushes the nose downward, and in software simulations led the planes to crash, not giving pilots enough time to recover. Engineers are working on the issue, but this discovery will no doubt further delay the process to get MAX jets back in the air. Psyche 16 is an asteroid orbiting between Mars and Jupiter. It's composed of gold, iron, and nickel. That if this asteroid was mined would be worth $700 quintillion. That would make every living human a trillionaire if it sold at market value. Eminem's biological father has died. Marshall Bruce Mathers Jr. passed away at his home in Indiana, reportedly from a heart attack. It was no secret that M held a lifelong grudge against his dad, often rapping about his feelings of abandonment. His father was 67. Beth Chapman has died. The Dog the Bounty Hunter co-star passed away Wednesday at a hospital in Honolulu, days after being placed in a medically induced coma. She battled long and hard, but ultimately lost her fight with cancer. Her husband, Dwayne Chapman, also known as Dog the Bounty Hunter, tweeted a goodbye to his wife, saying, "Today, she hiked the stairway to heaven. We all love you, Beth. See you on the other side." Beth was 51. Sarah Haines is a mom of three. The Strahan and Sarah co-anchor gave birth to a little boy on Wednesday named Caleb Joseph. The little one joins older sister Sandra, 1, and brother Alec, 3. The 10 Democrats in last night's debate gave quick answers to rapid-fire questions from the moderators, who showed keen attention to ensuring everyone had exposure and time. Some questions were direct and allowed only 10 seconds to give a yes, no, or pass answer. Moderator Jose Diaz-Balart from Telemundo may get a Tony nomination for his dramatic reading of debate questions. Cory Booker might get an honorable mention. Meanwhile, Rachel Maddow is in the running for setting a world record for most syllables spoken per nanosecond. Midway through the debate, after Chuck Todd and Maddow took over, there was a microphone snafu, so none of the candidates could hear questions, and the mic feeds of the previous team was piped into the room. President Trump had input on the hiccup, tweeting, "At NBC News and at MSNBC, you guys should be ashamed of themselves for having such a horrible technical breakdown in the middle of the debate. Truly unprofessional and only worthy of a fake news organization," which they are. Beto O'Rourke gave answers in both Spanish and English, so did Cory Booker, and Diaz-Balart asked a few in Spanish. Julian Castro promised to push the Equal Rights Amendment. Jay Inslee appeared to smile the whole time, literally 2 hours straight, except for when he gave answers, then he looked mean and angry. Elizabeth Warren's industrial policy will invest tenfold in green energy technology that private companies will be able to use, provided they use that research to create American jobs. Elizabeth Warren and Bill de Blasio raised their hands when asked by Lester Holt if they'd fully abolish private insurance. Amy Klobuchar, or however you say her name, and I still haven't got it right yet, might be the least nuts. John Delaney, a former executive, is all for keeping private health insurance as an option while providing a public one. Julian Castro would ensure abortions are covered for trans women. I'm not sure how that works. Julian Castro later called for a Marshall Plan for Central American countries. No word on how that would be enforced, and no moderator asked if that meant invasion. Everyone but Cory Booker said they'd re-enter President Obama's Iran nuclear deal, but he says he'd renegotiate the terms. The Washington Post broke down how much speaking time each candidate got. Cory Booker, 10.9 minutes. O'Rourke, 10.3 minutes. Elizabeth Warren, 9.3 minutes. Julian Castro, 8.8. Amy Klobuchar, 8.5 minutes. Tim Ryan, 7.7. Tulsi Gabbard, 6.6. John Delaney, 6.6. Bill de Blasio, 5.6. And Jay Inslee, 5 minutes. The U.S. Senate has approved a $4.5 billion spending bill to send resources to the southern border, and now must resolve differences with a House bill that took a sharp turn left late Monday night. President Trump weighed in on Twitter with commentary about the debate at 8:35 p.m. He tweeted, "Boring." And that was it. In the lottery, no winner for Tuesday night's Mega Millions drawing. Saturday night's drawing will be for $71 million or a $46.6 million cash payout. On TV tonight, Democratic Debate Part 2 will be on NBC at 8 p.m. Other notable shows on tonight are Holy Moly on ABC, Master Chef on Fox, Family Food Fight on ABC, Spin the Wheel on Fox, Life in Pieces CBS, Elementary on CBS, and Reef Break on ABC. A verified The Simple Life Twitter account sparked some speculation about a reboot on Tuesday. First, there was a photo of the original actors, Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie, with a tag, Simple Life 6. Then there was also a post about frenemies Paris and Lindsay Lohan starring in the reboot, which would air on Netflix. Finally, the account is only following Paris, Nicole, and Lindsay, a source told E! According to Netflix, there is no reboot in the works. The Office is officially leaving Netflix in January 2021. The show will move over to NBC's new streaming service for a 5-year deal. The Beehive is aflutter with news that Beyoncé is working on some new tracks. She is also voicing Nala in the remake of The Lion King and lending her voice to the soundtrack for the film. No date has been shared for when Bey's new music will drop, but The Lion King is set to hit theaters July 19th, and the film soundtrack will hit streaming platforms on July 11th. Twitter came for Brody Jenner after he misgendered his dad, Caitlyn Jenner, during The Hills' New Beginnings premiere. Instead of using Caitlyn's preferred pronoun of she, Brody called her he twice. While he could have been talking about his dad pre-transition, fans were not going to let it slide. Cardi B has pled not guilty for the charges brought against her in the strip club beatdown case. Fresh off of her album of the year win, Cardi showed up at a courthouse in Queens to enter the plea in person. Cardi was indicted last week on 12 charges, including 2 felonies, after she allegedly told crew to beat up 2 strip club bartenders back in August of 2018. Rumor is that one of them hooked up with Cardi's husband, Offset. With some major Hollywood studios considering boycotting Georgia over their new abortion law, Clint Eastwood is set to produce and direct a movie there. The 89-year-old is in the line to oversee production of The Ballad of Richard Jewell, a film about the bombing of the 1996 Summer Olympics in Atlanta. The film, which is scheduled to start shooting this summer, already has some big names tied to it, including Kathy Bates, Olivia Wilde, John Hamm, and Sam Rockwell. Meghan Trainor is enjoying newlywed life. The singer, who just 6 months ago married Spy Kids actor Daryl Sabara, said being a newlywed is amazing. She went on to say that he is truly great and very supportive of her music. I guess you could say he's all about that bass. Ty Pennington has granted Jesse Tyler Ferguson permission to use his infamous line, "Move That Bus," as the new host for the Extreme Makeover Home Edition reboot. HGTV plans to air 10 new episodes of the show, which Ty hosted for 9 successful seasons on ABC. Nene Leakes isn't going anywhere. The Real Housewives of Atlanta star will be back for season 12, despite reports saying she was suspended. Also, there is no spinoff in the works, at least to her knowledge. Bachelor alumni Nick Viall had some harsh words for current Bachelorette contestant Jed Wyatt. News recently broke that Jed had a girlfriend when he flew out to be on the show, and Nick wants to know, what the bleep, Jed? Jed's now ex-girlfriend outed him last week when she admitted that they were in fact together when he left to film the show. Kylie Jenner is setting the record straight following Alex Rodriguez's interview with Sports Illustrated, where he said that all Kylie talked about at the Met Gala was her lipstick, Instagram, and how rich she is. The beauty mogul is saying, false. Kylie took to Twitter to explain that the two actually talked about Game of Thrones, to which A-Rod replied, "Oh my God, that's right. It was me talking about you and your makeup line and how much my girls love you." Ryan Seacrest revealed that he once clogged Kris Jenner's toilet. On Wednesday's episode of Live with Kelly and Ryan, the host shared that he couldn't figure out the reality star's fancy commode, and when he thought he found the flusher, it malfunctioned, and the next thing he knew, the water level started rising. Instead of calling for help, Ryan said he was too embarrassed, so he just left it in there. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are spending about $850,000 on security at their Frogmore cottage. That number will afford the royals and baby Archie 20 officers from the Met Police and the Thomas Valley Force. They will also be planting about $20,000 worth of trees and shrubs so visitors to the Frogmore estate can't look at them. Just like the $3 million spent on renovations to the cottage, the taxpayers will be floating that bill. Some commoners are understandably peeved about the royal spending and feel the funds could be better spent on public services such as education. In today's birthdays, we have Khloe Kardashian, who is 34, Tobey Maguire, who is 43, J.J. Abrams, director of the Star Wars, The Force Awakens, is 52, and fashion designer Vera Wang is 69. This has been the Boring as Hell News with Jake from Radio Underland. Today's Thursday. Have fun out there, people. Have a good day. This next week on our show, well, actually, we don't have a show this week. We're taking this week off for the July 4th, so there will be no show on this Tuesday. Other than that, subscribe to our podcast, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook, and donate to our Patreon, which you can be found at Podbean. I'm not too sure what the address is for that, and I probably should know it, but I don't. Once again, shout out to Norco Tobacco for sponsoring this show, and don't forget that they have an event this Friday, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m., 2500 Hamner Avenue in Norco, California. Have a great day, peeps.